Welcome to the Sure Shot for Week 8 of the NFL season. I am your host, Chad Morton, the agent, joined as always by the two-time Super Bowl champion and Commanders Hall of Famer, Gary Clark, the 21-year professional football player and coach veteran, the disruptor Lois Cook, and the professor, grizzled journalist veteran, Mark Gray. Welcome, everybody, to Week 8. As I was saying earlier off camera, we've got some good weeks, we've got some bad weeks, then we just got some crazy weeks. But one thing's for sure, Bill Belichick must have watched the last episode. He told us to shut the hell up, because from one legend to another, he came strong, he came hard, got his 300th win against division rival Buffalo. Gary, what say you about co-legend?
When you're the GOAT right now, as he is, so he's the GOAT, you never can quite talk too much trash about the GOAT, because they're the GOAT. It'd be like somebody talking trash about Michael Jordan. You can't talk.
You can't.
You can compare other people to him, but you can't say somebody's better. You can say somebody's as good or just as good, but you can't say somebody's better than the GOAT. Same thing with Julius Erving. Michael Jordan is as good as Julius Erving, but not better than Julius Erving. Certain GOATs just stand there,
Man.
You're the GOAT, you're the GOAT,
We're gonna go down a whole nother lane if you
I'm
go
just
there.
saying, but you guys were on Bill. I just try to give you a little bit of a warning. So just a little bit of warning.
Professor, what do you got to say about that, man? Me and you, we was in the same boat, but Bill didn't hold it down for us.
Well, let me just even go back farther than that, because I was totally wrong about the Ravens last week. I mean, maybe this is the time of year where Lamar Jackson and Todd Monken are finally on the same page. I'm still not 100% sold on Baltimore's defense. I mean, they throttled the Lions, which still leads me to believe that Detroit isn't championship worthy just yet. Joe Burrow's getting healthy in Cincinnati. And by the way, agent, Mike Tomlin still knows how to coach. So for me now, after last week, the eyes are clearly on the AFC North. But as far as Belichick is concerned, I got some thoughts on the Bills coming up a little later on.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the one person who did have the Ravens, actually Gary had the Ravens too. I did. But our strongest opinion on the Ravens last week came from the disruptor herself. Yeah. The Ravens, they put in the work. What did you see in that game that enabled you to give our bettors the insight for the victory on that one?
Well, I mean, just looking at who the Ravens have been this whole season and coming off of the previous week, there were a lot of mistakes that were made, but they were correctable mistakes. They weren't mistakes that would actually characterize that team. So, and then the Ravens being at home, to me, that's a huge thing. The energy and just playing at home. I don't think the Lions are that amazing on their away games, but of course they're also a good team. But sometimes you feel it. So, I felt it that week. So I will say I definitely didn't see them having such a huge win over the Lions, but it did feel like a strong game for them.
Hey, to quote the late great Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were, and the Ravens handled their business. But Lois, since you had that pick, we're gonna let you go first. You studied the charts, you studied the numbers. Game one, who you got for our bet?
All right, okay, game one. Give me the 49ers game one.
Over the Bengals. No.
Yes. I do not see the 49ers going 3 losses in a row. Absolutely not. I think Brock Purdy had a really bad game last week. But I think they were shaken up by these past 2 losses that they've got their act. They're going to get their act together, at least for this week. The Bengals, I'm not sure. Is Burrow 100%? I don't know. But I think the 49ers will turn it around this week.
Okay, so we got the Bengals traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers at home. 49ers give it up 5.5. 5.5 points. Lois, you're sticking with those 49ers to cover that at home. All right. Game one, Legend, who you got?
I got the Chiefs over the Broncos.
Okay.
I'm giving up 8, but I'm okay giving up 8.
Okay.
Everybody's talking crap about Kansas City. I'm not going to mention anybody on this show talking crap about KC, but everybody's
Don't
talking
think it was
trash
me,
about
man.
KC at the start of the season. You know, I mean, when a great team plays bad and they still spank your butt, you know, great team. I mean, Philadelphia is another team. Like they're scary. I hate it because they're in our conference. You know, I'm always going to be a Commanders fan no matter what. But I'm not gonna. They're not going to be in my picks this week.
So you got. Oh, that'll be a first. So we got the Broncos at home getting 8 points. The Chiefs, you think, can comfortably cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely comfortably. Yeah.
If they're rolling, I don't see anybody beating them once they get that thing going. Professor, game one, who you got?
I got
I think he's
long delay.
Well, my game one is Tampa's at Buffalo. I'm still shocked. Or do I need to pick it up here? Because my light just went dead.
Yeah, you just put Mitch McConnell on us, man. You froze.
All right, let me.
It was a good freeze though, because it looked like it was real there for a second.
Man, I was worried, man. We gonna have to tap on you. But while the professor is going to get a little help, I'll start with my game one. We got the Jets at the Giants. Two teams, both with a home field advantage. The Giants coming off a big win over the Commanders. Jets coming off a big win as well. The only difference in this close game is that the Giants get 3.5 points. I think this is going to be a field goal game. Whether the Jets win it, whether the Giants win it, it's going to come down to that field goal. That half a point makes all the difference for your bet. Take the Giants in game one, plus that 3.5 in what should be a 3-point game. So that'll round us up for our game ones. We'll get back with the professor when he can join us. Let's go right back to game two. And Lois, let's start with you.
All right, game two. Give me Kansas City over the Broncos. I think it's going to be the same thing we saw before. I think Kansas City is they're rolling right now, and the Broncos are not. So I'm feeling Kansas City on this one. I don't like the spread as much, but I do think they're gonna overall they're gonna take this win. So 7.
Okay, and I see the Broncos slowly but steadily improving. I see the Broncos getting better, but the Chiefs, once they get that offense going, I think they're just going to explode. And
especially if Taylor Swift is there. I mean,
they're getting better, but they're not getting that. They're not getting that kind of better.
Right, they're not getting that kind of better that fast.
I don't think Kansas City has played an away playoff game in years.
Oh my God!
Think about that.
Right,
they've not played an away playoff game.
For 6 years,
since the QB got there. Since the QB got there. I mean, so they really haven't played an away playoff game. That's just me taking a guess. Y'all make fine, I'm incorrect, but just off the top of my head, I don't remember them ever going away to play a playoff game.
Right. I mean, even when they lost to the Bengals a few years back when the Bengals went, it all goes through Kansas City. They say they're America's team now. Game two for me, this is in honor of the professor who said Mike Tomlin can still coach. I never really doubted Mike Tomlin. It was Matt Canada I had a problem with, still have a problem with. But, Steelers are at home. Steelers get 2.5. We're playing the Jaguars, and the Steelers are looking good. Mike Tomlin undefeated after the bye week. Kept that streak going out there in L.A. Coming back home for 3 home games in a row. I really believe the Steelers are going to cover that 2.5. I think the Steelers are going to win outright. You might want to take them on the money line, make a little bit more for your dollar. Money line might be at 1.2 for every dollar that you put out there. Take the Steelers, take the 2.5, and there it is. That's the game where I think Mike Tomlin is really going to set himself apart. If the Steelers win, they're in first place in the AFC North. Toughest division in football. Hard to believe, but it's true. And we're back. Professor, are you back? Are you ready for your game one? Or are you ready for us to keep it moving? You got game one for us?
How do I look? That's the question.
You look like a Raven.
I mean, what do you say?
I said, who's your game one? We got to come back to you.
All right. I got Tampa and Buffalo, and I'm still a little shocked that the Bills are just a game over 500. They, to me, they like a hot chick's picture on social media. Only when you see her, you've been catfished. Now, it's not that I know anything about that, but to me, what experts see with Buffalo, I don't see it. However, I'm not quite sure that the Buccaneers are ready to beat the Bills. So to me, the play in that game is Tampa against the 8.5, because I don't think Buffalo will cover the 8.5-point spread that I got on Wednesday. It may drop. So if you're making your pick Saturday or Sunday, you might want to revisit that. But that's where I'm going here early in the week.
Okay, buddy. Well, I got that at 3.5. So it either dropped significantly or could be a misread. Would you still take it at 3.5?
3.5, I might lean towards Buffalo.
Okay. So then that hot girl, she's still going to get picked. And we got a game 2 we need from you because
no, you just gonna meet her at Cheesecake Factory and then bow out because she'll diss.
Boy, I think that was a really bad decision on her part. But anyway, not to digress. Give me your pick 2.
All right, Ravens 8.5 points at the Cardinals, and to me, this is a sucker's bet. If you ask here, Baltimore clearly the better overall team. They gave us a glimpse of that championship model that you saw last week at home against the Lions. But this is another long travel excursion to Phoenix from Baltimore. I doubt they go out there early like they did to England a couple of weeks ago. But I still think they win. However, as an 8.5-point favorite on Wednesday, I think that's going to fall. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals against the points. Ravens win, don't cover the 8.5.
You know what? And the Ravens do have a habit of winning big and then, having a letdown, even if they win with the following game. All right, so we got picks 1 and 2. Now we're all on the same page. We're going to go right back to the legend for game 3. Who you got and why?
Wait a minute, I don't think y'all got my pick 2.
You didn't get pick 2. Well, let's get both. Give it to me.
My pick 2 is actually the Ravens over the Cardinals. I don't care that we're giving up. I got 8.5 that we're giving up. I'm okay with that. Because the quarterback made it a point to point out that they can't play the way they've been playing back and forth like they've been doing. He made a point after the win to point that out. So he's pointing out this whole week of practice to the team that, hey, guys, it's time that we play this way all the time, not just some of the time. So I think they're going to ride that high and go ahead and take the Cardinals, even though they're giving up 8.5.
Okay. So you're going with the Ravens, and you're going to give up that 8.5 points. All right. And that's your pick 2, but we're going to stay right with you. Give me your pick 3.
Pick 3. I got the Dolphins over my Belichick. I got my Dolphins. Even though we're giving up 9.5. The main reason is that the Dolphins got beat. They got embarrassed. So I think they can't stand another loss right now. I mean, they really can't. Even though the Patriots really can't stand one, but the Dolphins, because they're in contention. I don't think the Patriots will get back in contention. They might because they have Belichick, but I'm gonna go ahead and take those Dolphins. And even though I'm giving up 9.5, I'm okay with that.
Wow, 9.5 is an awful lot. But going up against the legend, as you call him. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I didn't talk trash about him. I was like, I was respectful.
Right. It was me.
I was respectful about the legend.
I ain't mad. I'll take it. Give it to me. Lois, game 3. Who you got?
All right, y'all go ahead and let the sound effects come on in. But I'm gonna take the Commanders over the Eagles. It's always
taking Gary's place this week.
It's always a good game, but I feel like football is such an emotional game. It's so intense. And I think the Commanders are tired of the performance these last couple of weeks. And the last game that they had against the Giants wasn't so much of the Giants being the better team. Well, they were the better team, obviously. They won. But it wasn't so much of that as it was the Commanders are, again, hurting themselves in these games, just having the bad games. So, and all the signs, all the reasons are pointing to the Commanders not winning this, but I'm going to use some reverse psychology here. And I'm going to go with, I feel it. I'm going to go with the Commanders on this one.
Eagles and Commanders, typically a tough, close division game. Got a little bit more on that later, but I'll save that for the end. Let me give the folks my game 3. Pick 3 for me. Bengals at 49ers. And I think, Lois, you went with the 49ers. Going the other way on this. We got Joe Burrow. He's going across country, but you're giving him 5.5 points. He's at about 90%, I would say, and he's definitely going to play. Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy. Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy. Now, the team, there may be a big gap in the teams, but I'm following this quarterback. You give me 5.5 points in the Bengals, who may lose in a squeaker, but I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to, with those points, they'll be able to cover that spread. So give me the Bengals plus 5.5 for my game 3. And now what the folks have been waiting.
Wait a minute, no, because just so everybody knows, after that game, me and Chad gonna be texting back and forth like, I told you so.
When you good, I give you your props. And when you bad, I don't say nothing. You can't get it no better than that. All right, what everybody's been waiting for, we're going to go with the sure shots. I'm starting with the legend because you're on fire today. I like your picks. Who you got?
My sure shot, I'm taking 2.5 with the Steelers over the Jaguars.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm take that 2.5 Steelers over the Jaguar. Like I said last week, that coach is a great coach. You know, and the players, when they like their coach, they come and surround their coach and they play for their coach, especially if they think their coach in some type of jeopardy. And I think he has the love of generations of players, quite honestly, that love how he coaches, and they come and they support him and they defend him. You know, so I think they're going to defend him by going ahead and winning this football game over the Jaguars. And they're at home. So, you know, you got to love those odds.
Yes, sir. Getting ready for a 3-game homestand. So Gary Clark has a sure shot with the Steelers. Professor, who you got?
I got to pick 3 first before I go to my sure shot because you got me on the pick 3.
I forgot you on that. Give me your pick 3.
All right, I'm taking the Jaguars are at the Steelers. I get them at 2.5 points with the Steelers being the favorite. And I like Pittsburgh at home in the spot. You know, maybe last weekend was the coming together of Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada being on the same page book. Steelers defense now terrorizing people behind TJ Watt. They're beginning to find their running game. We'll learn a lot about Trevor Lawrence this week, the Jacksonville quarterback, but I still think the Steelers are up to the challenge and can win this game by a field goal. So watch the money here. The over-under is 42.5. I think the under is the play in that game.
I do too. Good call. Good call, sir. And may I have your sure shot with that?
Oh, with that being said, my sure shot is the Eagles, a 6.5 point favorite at the Commanders. Look, I love the Eagles getting 6.5 here. The wheels haven't fallen all the way off the car in D.C., but there are a lot of things wrong with that engine. The OC ain't putting his quarterback in a position to play to his strengths. Instead, he wants him to run his offense. The back end of their defense is porous at best. Philly seems to have annexed that piece of property in suburban Maryland known as FedEx Field and turned it into their own personal Airbnb anytime they come down 95 for 90 minutes. So I think Philly covers the spread and wins big. And you ain't seen nothing till you see a Magic Johnson tweet about 6 o'clock on Sunday. I bet you that's going to be worth making sure you got your social media on.
Yo, I was wondering if anybody notices that after every Commanders game, Magic sends a tweet. Something good or something bad. But one thing you know, he's paying attention, and he don't like to lose.
He don't.
Great pick there. Lois, Disruptor, who you got for the sure shot?
Give me the Jets over the Giants. I think the Giants offense is going to be in big trouble with the Jets defense. And I definitely don't see them scoring any more than the 3 points that we're giving them.
Wow. So you and I are going against each other on that one, as my game pick was the Giants getting that 3.5. Let me give you my sure shot. May I have a drum roll real quick? Sure shot. Week 8 from the agent is the Commanders at home over the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right, now.
I know the Commanders are supposed to lose this game, and they're supposed to lose big. But Jonathan Allen may have a little something to say about that. He's pissed off with all this losing, as are a lot of other players. There's a lot of heat on the Commanders right now, and this is the game where they come out, play with the big boys, win and cover. So they get 6.5. Commanders might win outright. I'll take those 6.5 points and take the Commanders as the sure shot for week 8. Gary, are you with me?
Gary's got a big smile on his face. I love it.
Oh,
We'll reverse.
I hope the Commanders win. Let's put it that way.
Well, there you have it.
I'm not going to bet on my hopes.
Right,
Oh,
I like that. Hey, to all our
Never
bettors
bet
at home, never bet on your hopes and never chase a loss. And with that being said, always bet responsibly. Never bet more than you can handle. But if you are going to bet, come check us out first for the first-hand knowledge on what's going to happen right here on The Sure Shot. On behalf of the legend, the professor, and the disruptor, I am Chad Morton, the agent. We will see you here next week.